The Epicenter community is planning events to make Boston's cultural scene more inclusive, and one free event is scheduled for this evening, the Juneteenth celebration. In partnership with the Museum of Fine Arts, we'd like to welcome the Epicenter community's president, Malia Lazu. Thank you very much for being with us, Malia.
Hi, Chris. Thank you.
I want to start with the MFA because if people are watching us at 5:30, they still have some time to get down there and enjoy this. This has been going on for 4 years, and this isn't just like an ordinary, free night at the museum.
No, I mean, I like to think that it's one of the museum's most special free nights. We're going to be showing a lot of local artists, and that's what's really exciting about this day, is that we're not only celebrating the idea of slaves becoming free, regardless of what you think of the Juneteenth story, but we're showing our freedom. We are going to have 6 African American and African diaspora fashion designers, graffiti artists, poets, actors. We're also going to be having a panel on art and revolution inspired by Ai Weiwei and his exhibit there with at the MFA.
And I guess that's the important thing here, is that this is not just art that people ought to look at because someone thinks it's good. This is art about the people coming in to the museum.
That's a beautiful, beautiful way to put it. I think that it's probably one of the most reflective events of who we are, and so often I think we forget how important art is in telling that story, and we look at high art, or as you said, is a curator saying that this is worth a second look. We believe that everyone creates art, but these are people who do it well. So come, it's not me drawing; it's good art.
I think it's even an event here with drawing. Bring the kids and let them catch the vibes, I guess.
Exactly. What's so awesome, and the first time we did this event, it was in the Drucker space. I don't know if people know the Drucker space, but it's down by the movie theater, and there was about 1,600 people, and yet it was still this beautiful event where people were hearing music, seeing different artists, and then being able to create their own art. And it's slowly grown. So 2,200 people came last year, and this year we have almost 4,000 registered. But it is a free event. They keep the lines moving. The museum knows how to do free events. So come on, we're going to be open till 10.
I guess one other thing here, and this is just amazingly fundamental, that a lot of the times we don't think out of the box culturally, or even go outside unless someone asks us.
Yeah. I think especially in Boston, it was interesting. I was in Providence a couple weekends ago, and they had this PVD Fest, which is like this citywide festival with arts and people, and there was literally this parade that it seemed like they just said, come one, come all, and so some people were really good and had great floats, some people were walking with like glow sticks, but everyone was participating, and I think Boston doesn't have that feeling. We do St. Patrick's Day, we do the Caribbean Festival, we do the Puerto Rican Festival, and so we decided to take one of the blackest holidays and bring it to one of the whitest institutions, and see what happens. And what happens is amazing mixing and a lot of fun.
This is BNN News. We're talking with Malia Lazu from the Epicenter community. Another kind of culture, of course, is fashion, which has its own pigeonholes and barriers, and you're trying to get around some of those with an event happening later this year. Yes.
So you talk about using culture creatively, and I think that's something that Epicenter community does really well. We think it's important, and we think that culture is a way to get people in without feeling the defensiveness sometimes when you're talking strategy or a diversity workshop, or we're like, just come one, come all, we'll party together and get along, right? And figure out that we love each other's food, and we love each other's music, and we love each other's art. So we use culture a lot, and last year we had some of our community members come up to us and say that they were really disappointed in the public events that were happening, especially in Boston and around, for the 25th anniversary of the ADA. The disability groups were trying their best to do some great events, but there really wasn't the community in the same way of like a Martin Luther King Day or what have you, and they expressed this feeling of their humanity just not being seen. Like, okay, great, it's 25 years. There's curb cuts, there's elevators, but people with disabilities are more than that. And they wanted to party, and they wanted an experience that would highlight their humanity. And so we started to talk to them, and we decided that we were going to do a fashion accessibility program to really promote the how we can make fashion more accessible. So on September 30th, from 11:30 to 1, a group of fashion designers, fashion buyers, sneaker designers, jewelry makers are going to be meeting with a group of people with disabilities from several organizations that are partnering with us, like the Multicultural Independent Living Center, VSA, Eli Wolf. We actually have a couple of Paralympians that are supporting us. It's going to be a wonderful time for us to really talk about how buyers might be able to make fashion more accessible, and thinking about the difference between a button, a snap, and a zipper, which really can make or break someone in wearing that shirt. You know, and one thing that I want to pull out too about using culture creatively is that, or fashion, as you mentioned, Chris, is that fashion is important. I mean, I know we think about it as a luxury or, you know, whatever, but there are days and times where, you know, maybe that tie might, you know, be what you need to go into that meeting, or, you know, that piece of jewelry makes you feel and gives you a certain confidence. And it wasn't until we started talking with our community members that had disabilities that we realized those simple pleasures of being able to put on a dress to help you feel pretty is something that is very difficult for several million Americans to do. And so we just want to find a way to celebrate the beauty and the humanity of people with disabilities.
It's interesting here because what I gather is the intent is not to disguise or even dress up a disability, is just to show that that this still could be a fit for anybody.
Exactly.
And they feel like they belong in this. It's not like I'm wearing something that other people wear, but I had to tear it off here. Exactly,
exactly. You know, hoodies with zippers, right? We can all use zippers. You know, looking at how we make what's seemingly mundane very inclusive, because, you know, fashion in a certain way should be mundane. We all need to wear clothes. We get in trouble if we don't. So we should be able to look pretty in those clothes, or, you know, feel that we look handsome in those clothes, and have them work for our body. One of the requests that we've gotten from one of the members of our community is she would like a dress that's actually integrated into her chair, so it looks like she's floating. So wait for that. When we do the fashion show, you'll be able to see that.
And finally, Malia, if people want to keep track of what's going on with the Epicenter community, you've got a place where they can look for that?
Yes, you can join us on social media at Epicenter.com, C-O-M, and you can find us on Facebook in the same way, and our website is Epicenter.com with 2 M's, COMM.org.
Great. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Chris.
Malia Lazu from Epicenter Community. Up ahead, we'll talk about closing the income gap.